a tough game the other night. It was tough to see. It was tough to see Tanner Scott put in such a tough situation where he had to throw a strike. I didn't like the move there, but whatever. The Dodgers bounced back. They're still 2.5 up on San Diego. They're pushing the Giants farther down, and it was good to get out of there. Now we've got Philly tomorrow.
We do have Philly tomorrow. It does not get any easier, but I'll tell you this. Whenever the Dodgers took the kick in the nuts, I'll say that point blank, in Baltimore last week, that next Sunday morning, Dave mentioned, I know Steven was talking about this on the broadcast today, how the leadership of this team just showed up the next day like, hey, that's in the past. It is what it is. Today's a new day. You saw that again this weekend. Now, you gave up the 4 runs early in the Saturday game, and you're like, well, woe is me, and I got like 17 messages of how Dave needs to get fired. And just typical fun fan stuff. What I love about the Dodgers fans, they're just so passionate. And I get in the same category myself. So trust me, I throw myself into that category. The next thing you know, you just keep scoring. And this team showed again that when it has to be, it has a certain amount of grit.
Yeah, listen, I love the fan base. I love the passion. I love the up and down wave they ride. It's funny, I don't hear much talk right now. Again, I said it last week about Mookie Betts. All of a sudden, he's the next MVP, for Dodgers. Everybody loves him again.
And Conforto's over 200.
Yeah, Conforto's over 200. I just tweeted out, good to see this guy battling back. He was the Dodger pitcher of the day. So that looked good to see us picked on there. People, but no, you put it best. You put a social media post out about Dave Roberts. And when you are the manager of the best team in baseball, you have to accept the criticism. And he takes a lot of it. But again, the Dodgers are still in first place. They're figuring ways to win now. And you're right. Saturday, people were losing their minds with Kershaw. And the Dodgers finally started to hit. I wish they would hit for Yamamoto, but they started to hit. And we took 2 out of 3. So everything's great.
So I think what we saw this weekend, yes, we've said the hat hanger has been the starting pitching. And that has been, of course, Kershaw only went 3 innings yesterday. We'll get into that here in a minute. And that's not good, and he gave up the 4 runs. But the starting pitching definitely has been the hat hanger. I was proud of Tyler Glass now, 2nd outing in a row. He's gone 7 innings, so not just good, but also bell cow, which is kind of what I questioned with him. But there's no debate. This team was built to be an offensive team. So when this team is playing offense, yes, it's great when you're pitching good, but when they're playing good offense and Mookie's getting hits and Teo's getting hits, it has a whole different vibe to it, right?
Yeah, and you touched on it last week. The Dodgers look different when Teo looks happy and is energetic and is hitting the ball, and that's what we saw here. We've watched him now with the last 3-4 games start to hit the ball. To touch on Glass now, I think that guy's proven what we've wanted from him. He looked great. I have no hesitation using that guy in a playoff game, in a playoff series. You're right. I mean, the Dodgers were built on hitting, but they were also built on this Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow. Let's get 3 studs. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I think Emmett Sheehan is the next stud in that list right there. That's my next guy. And then I think you can throw Kershaw in there. So, anyways, back to what you're saying. Yes, this team is built on hitting. And when they hit, they are as unbeatable as a team you're going to see if the pitching is just even above average, if they hit the way they hit. So it was great to see.
It's a good problem to have. You have Conforto had, 3 hits today? He's over 200 now. Tommy Edman gets 2 hits today. Andy Pages had 2 hits last night. Teo Hernandez finally looks locked in. We'll get into that here in a minute, too. So now all of a sudden you went from, okay, well, there's no hitting and we're just searching for this and that, to literally having 4 outfielders now. And some people would say, hey, move Mookie Betts back to right fielder, right? Make 5 outfielders. Of course, we've been pushing it back against that all year. Now it's a good problem to have as you only have 3 outfield spots and 4 outfielders hitting. That's a good problem to have.
Great problem to have. I mean, if Conforto can just stay consistent, you've got a great. I don't want to use the word great. You've got a solid left-handed bat in the lineup. I like what's happening. I mean, the Dodgers. I've been asking for some consistency with the lineup. You're still probably not seeing that where I'd like it to be. Muncy gets hit in the head, so you're not seeing Muncy again.
Will Smith.
Will Smith's down on the shelf. But it's just good to see. It's so much more relaxing to watch Dodger baseball, and I think I'll speak for everybody here when they're hitting the baseball. It's just such an easy watch than when they're not. So It was fun to see this weekend.
It absolutely was, and there are some very, very tough questions to answer here. But I'll say this: Oral hit on this during the game today. But hey, Dave, I thought I was super proud of Dave yesterday. First of all, he pinch hits Conforto today, and he comes up with a huge hit, right? I mean, when you're gonna criticize him like we did Friday, you've also got to praise him for the times when things absolutely do go absolutely perfectly like that. So there. And then also, you want to know where the tones got set for me for these last two games? Clayton Kershaw has not only been an unbelievable Hall of Famer, he's also been outstanding this year. And you know what Dave did with Clayton yesterday? He took his ass out after the third inning, which, hey, we've seen Clayton Kershaw bounce back and after a slow start go like 6 or 7 innings and still give the team a chance to win. But Dave said, you know what? This is basically playoff baseball right now. Sorry, Clayton, I have to manage this like it's a playoff game. Yep. He took his ass out, and that sends a message to the rest of your team. Boys, you better get locked in or your ass is next. And I really think that wakes people up.
Yeah, I was just hoping that Kershaw could get out of that first inning. I was starting to question, are we going to just let him just die out there on the mound, But, yeah, taking him out, for me, was a great sign. I texted one of my friends, Izzy, and I said, he's got to get through this inning, and that's it for him. Dave has got to sit him down, and he did. Not that he listened to me, but it was just my feeling sit this dude down, and let's try to win this game. And it was great to see that. And Dave it's funny, when you win a world championship, everybody loves him. The second something goes wrong the next season, everybody wants the guy gone. And Dave has managed. You've asked me this last week. I think Dave Roberts has done a phenomenal job managing this team. So, he's shown it. And I'm really pumped. I just love what happened this weekend. So
I think kind of the wake-up call there was, I think if there is a fair criticism of Dave from an overall perspective, it's that he hugs his veterans too much. We sometimes get called prospect huggers. I would call Dave a veteran hugger. So you look at that and you go, okay, well, as a fan, somebody who's not emotionally attached, I'm emotionally attached to winning, right? I want to win. I'm not having to manage egos and do all this kind of stuff. So from that perspective, we're all going, take his ass out. We love Clayton. He'll get after it the next outing. But you're thinking, well, Dave ain't going to do it because he loves. It's a Hall of Famer. It's a veteran. It's a guy that he would rather have that guy in than a Ben or whoever. Actually, it was a Gar Enriquez, a rookie. He's not going to bring in a rookie after 3 innings to replace a Hall of Fame guy. But damn it if he didn't do it. So that was kind of the surprise of it to me, the wake-up call aspect of it to me.
Yeah, and I think, the part of me was like the Dodgers, the guys saw this, and then they rallied behind the move. All right, you're going to take out our Hall of Famer. Let's rally behind this move, and let's get some runs, and it's just kind of the way it felt. It's funny that you talk about that because that's the way I was feeling. I said, we've got to get him out. And then, I said, the next thing I said in a text was, if they can start hitting this thing, it will forget. And here they 2 days worth of just really good hitting from this team. Relentless. And this is what I think as fans we expect every game. I know it's not going to happen, but I think this is the line. This is the team that this is what they should be doing. And I think this is what we expected. So it was awesome to see.
Chuck is bringing his A game already tonight. So hit fest in the last 2 days. Ben Rortvedt is the glue to this pitching staff. We're going to get into that as well. But then also the Dodgers need to figure out how to hit off of an off day. It's almost like you have this very veteran type team and they get an off day and it's like it takes them a day to get back into the swing of playing instead of, because, when you're younger, you're full of piss and vinegar. You just want to go to the yard. You want to get there at 1 o'clock every day. You don't ever want to leave. You're losing time with your family because it's like then when you get a little bit older, you start prioritizing this, you prioritize that. It's just human nature. That's not a criticism. So it's almost like the older roster takes a little bit longer to get back off of an off day. And so that is definitely with the playoffs, with as many off days as the playoffs are going to have, that's definitely a concern. That's something that these veterans are going to have to figure out. What's going on after off days?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the schedule. There is no off day for this Phillies series, so I guess that's a good thing. It's almost like the Dodgers think, hey, if we can win 2 out of 3 every time, we're going to be okay. And it's like it takes the series a little bit to get going. And I'd rather just sweep the series. But and I've always said if you win 2 out of 3 every series, you're going to be a world champion. But you're right. After an off day, it's like they really enjoyed their off day. And then it's like we'll take a full game and then we'll be ready. But, yeah, let's figure out the off day. But you know what? Nice we don't have one. We get to go right from San Fran right into L.A. and we get Philly right off the bat. So that'll be good.
Let's talk Ben Rortvedt. Dalton Rushing had 3 hits today. 1, 2, 3 for Oklahoma City, okay? He has been I think he has 4 hits total. He's like 4 for 9 since he's back, okay? And we saw, but you can hear my Dodgers dogs going nuts over here, so I may have to go get them here in a minute and put their other collars on if they keep doing this. So, okay, here's kind of the way I look at that. We saw the other night on Friday night's game that by not having another catcher on the roster, you could not pinch run for Rortvedt at second. Therefore, he got thrown out at third. So is there any world where Dalton Rushing gets called up, Ben Rortvedt stays on the roster and you carry 3 catchers only because you don't trust the health of Will Smith?
That's a tough one. I think I put in our Dodger Daily group chat, I think this guy reminds me of Mickey Hatcher. Like he's goofy. He looks weird at the plate. He does these weird hip movements.
He'll take some terrible swings and that kind of thing.
Terrible swings. He makes funny faces. His glove is weird as a catcher. He sometimes doesn't even know what pitch he's calling, but he blocks everything. He comes up with big-time plays. I would like to see this guy on the roster because there's something about this goofy dude that I kind of like. He's always got slobber coming off of his chin. He takes things off of his head, and, he looks dazed and confused. But I think Dalton Rushing is the backup catcher. I think there is a place, though, for my guy Ben on this roster. I'm not here to diagram and just dissect moves and who you move and don't move, but I kind of like this guy's attitude, and he's always dirty, and I like guys like that. I like guys on I'm not saying this is a Dodger team, but it's a prima donna. You got a lot of high-level dudes making a lot of money, and then you got Ben making whatever he's making. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like this guy on the roster, but I'm not going to replace Dalton Rushing. I'm not. I'm bringing him up.
So you're okay with Ben Rortvedt on the roster, but not as a replacement for Dalton Rushing, only if it's with Dalton Rushing.
Got to be with Dalton Rushing. That's how I feel about this. There's no place in my mind Dalton Rushing is not going to be on this roster for the play. I like him behind the plate. I think he's done a great job defensively. He can gun guys down. And I thought he was starting to come around at the plate a little bit. Don't correct me on the numbers, but he looked more comfortable. But something's growing on me with this guy, Ben, right? I don't even know how to say his last name, so I'm just going to call him my dude, Ben.
Rortvedt. Yeah, hey, you want to know how big of a underdog Ben Rortvedt has been with this Dodgers team? This is all you need to know, and this is what, matter of fact, let me actually get to this. With the Dodgers, Ben Rortvedt is hitting .320, OPS .814. He had the big double, and he's had some big hits and a bunt. He's caught some amazing games. He's putting the right fingers down. It's been just absolutely amazing how well Ben Rortvedt has done. So I mentioned this with Austin on yesterday's show. Let me kind of explain how big of a underdog Ben Rortvedt has been, okay? I have been in the dugout with Ben Rortvedt probably 10 different times at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm doing interviews. You know how many times I've asked him for an interview or even said hello to him?
How many times?
0. You want to know why? Because I was interviewing Michael Kopech and Yesung Kim and even guys like Will Klein and guys like that because I thought they were the ones that were going to make the impact on the team. I never even said hello or shook his hand or introduced myself to Ben Rortvedt. He probably thinks I'm a complete asshole. You talk about prima donna. He probably thinks I'm that because I never even said hello to the guy because it never even crossed my mind that he would be a part of the Major League team. This just felt like, hey, you give away Hunter Fiducia, you're getting back depth in the system just to fill out at the AAA team, and you made this move for Paul Gervais, which was of the two, the guy that I interviewed, which Gervais did make it up first. Lo and behold, Ben Rortvedt makes it to the major leagues as the ultimate underdog, which is kind of why you see him playing with a wild abandon because he just absolutely has nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, you're going to see like a Netflix documentary on this dude. I don't know. Like, I find myself constantly watching this guy.
Yes.
I don't know. You could put me in a classroom and I would know the first thing about catching technique, but he doesn't look like he knows some of the things. I think he forgets some of his calls. He got hit in the head yesterday and he looked around dazed and he's got slobber dripping down. He's always dirty. He's got this weird hip movement after he swings. But you know what? He fits in with this team that's making trillions of dollars. And there's this dude. He's calling great games. I know he and Glasnow the other night, not today, but they kept calling each other off on the pitches. And it looked a little funny, but I just like this guy. You said an underdog story. You've got a lot of guys that are not underdogs, and then you throw this one guy out there. It's like this dude that doesn't fit, but he does. So that's where I would like to make my case. I would like to see this guy on the roster. I don't want to get technical about it. I don't know who you would drop and move up and down. Maybe it doesn't even work, but I would like to see this guy somehow on this roster.
So it's one of those deals. Here's the part of the accountability piece, in terms of building a team full of diverse players that all love each other, that kind of deal, the brotherhood that you talk about. There's no bigger brotherhood. See, like if everybody's the exact same, that's fine. But the real brotherhoods are like when you have a million different, you've had these teams, coach, you have a million different backgrounds. You have kids that come from rich families, poor families. They're white, they're African-American, they're maybe Asian, not as much in basketball Asian, but you name it, they're from all over the world, all different backgrounds, but yet they're all the same. They all love each other the same. Those are the true brotherhoods. So when I say that to say, when you have Ben Rortvedt there and so-and-so who's made $25 million for the last 10 years of their life goes, man, I was 0 for 2 today. He goes, yeah, well, okay, well, I'm making $35,000 a year, asshole, so why don't you shut the hell up, right? That kind of deal. That really kind of snaps your veterans in a weird way back into shape, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Mookie and Shohei make more per at bat than this guy makes, in his career.
Yeah.
It's like I remember he grounded into a big time double play with the bases loaded, and he sprinted down first and sprinted into the dugout like, I got to get my catching gear on because I don't want anybody to look at me. But it's like I kind of like guys like that, especially on a team like the Dodgers. It just makes sense for me. You and I talked about this way early in the season. Vesia. In Bonda, these guys, do they fit? No, but they fit with this team. Ben right now fits, and it's fun to watch. I don't know if it continues. I don't know, but I'm enjoying watching it right now, and I feel really good for the guy. I don't even know the guy, but I'm pumped for him.
It's the ultimate merit system. Taking Clayton Kershaw out yesterday, it's the ultimate merit system. Playing Ben Rortvedt or whatever it may be, ultimate merit system. And whenever you have a true merit system, meaning whoever is performing is the one who gets the playing time. What happens, coach, is we get to see it with Oklahoma City every single day. Yeah. In the minor leagues, these guys are brothers. They love each other. They're going to be friends for their entire life. I promise you that. They're going to be best friends. They're going to go. They're going to drive 8 hours one way to go see each other 20 years from now. That's the kind of friendship they're going to have forever. But yet, at the same time, they're both competing for the exact same promotion. It is a weird dynamic. And so I say that to say the best teams, coach, are the ones that have an internal competition, but they do it through kind of a brotherly love type of deal. So what a guy like Ben Rortvedt does for Dalton Rushing, like we have in the chat here from Chuck, it makes Dalton Rushing go, you know what? I better freaking get 3 hits today, which he did, or my ass isn't going to be on the roster, right? So that internal competition it makes the cream rise to the top.
Yeah, no, good call there on that, Chuck. I think you're spot on what you did, like what you said, and I don't know if Dalton Rushing is looking at the box score. I don't know how that works, but if he's looking at it, he's going like, this dude is really starting to get some things done. I better up my game, but I like the inner competition. I think that's great. I think the Dodgers have that, and again, let's just keep rooting for Ben while we can, and hopefully. Worst case, this propels him to something else in another organization and somebody sees this. So, but I've been enjoying it. I enjoy watching that guy. Yeah.
So it's a very, very, very long shot. Let me actually get to the I don't know how the wild card standings up. It's a very long shot to catch either the Phillies or the Brewers. Not impossible. You have the Phillies coming in. It's absolutely not impossible. because we've seen even the Dodgers. You can lose a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the Giants got back into things.
Yeah.
So if you're Dave Roberts, is there – of course, you're only, let's see, in the NL West. Let me pick this up. You are in front of the Padres by 2.5, so you got to keep that arm's length. But as long as you have that arm's length, is there any big picture left here to try to figure out who's on the playoff roster, or is this just balls to the wall, I've got to put in the next guy that I have available? Which way do you approach this next couple of games?
I think the stretch that the Dodgers have coming up, I'm looking at it right now. They've got 3 with Philly, 4 with San Francisco. I think this is an incredibly important 7-game stretch for the Dodgers. I would really like to see them 5-2. I think that's realistic. 6-1 would be amazing, but I don't know if you can go 6-1 against Philly and San Francisco. But I would like to see the Dodgers buckle down these 7 games, see where we're at the end of this 7 games, because then you go to Arizona, and then you go to Seattle. But I think this is an important 7-game stretch, and I think Dave has got to approach this as a 7-game stretch that we've got to win.
Playoff baseball.
You're either going to extend it, or you're going to be stuck where you got to go and win some massive games against San Francisco. I just find this 7 games a huge deal for us.
It absolutely is. So let's put it very clearly. No, we're not arrogant enough to think that anybody in the organization watches this show, although we do have confirmation that there are certain people that are fans of Coach Barrakoff. I've had that verification before. We won't say that on the air, but we've texted that behind the scenes. And there's also a big fan of Coach Hull, too. I don't personally have any fans. It's always my co-host that end up with the fan. Maybe that's something that I'm doing wrong here, right? Okay, so if anybody is watching this show, this is a 7-game series coming up that needs to be played, managed, and viewed, everything done like it is the playoffs. The playoffs started this weekend. I thought Dave did a great job of putting that sense of urgency into it this weekend after the Friday debacle, and I think that continues, like you said. It has to be approached like it's the playoffs.
Yeah, this is like we're at that point now. We're not in July and we can say, all right, we go through a little stretch here. We'll bounce back. We've got these are 7 games that are meaningful. I mean, they're super meaningful. And I think for a fan, just for me personally, these are 7 games I'm going to be glued to my TV. Not that I don't miss games, but I'm going to be a little nervous about this. I mean, Philly is a good baseball team, and they're throwing lefties at us. And you can see what we want about.
What did you just say? They're going to do what? They're going to throw what?
From everything it sounds, they're going to throw. The Phillies are going to throw 3 straight left-handed pitchers at us. I think that's tough. And don't think San Francisco's not going to come in fired up in LA to beat us. I don't like the Giants. I hate the Giants. I've stated that many times. Padres. I don't even care about the Padres. I don't like this Giants team. I don't like their colors. I don't like their people. I don't like their fans. I don't like anything about them. And I think, but what I do know is the Giants are going to come in for a 4-game stretch against us ready to go. And I don't think that's going to be an easy series. So, yes, back to the original. This is a big 7-game series for Coach Barrakoff and my fan watching. So I'm excited for this.
I'll say this, though. We mentioned that last game against the Padres. It felt like a backbreaker to them. And I think that's, to an extent, kind of played itself out. Boy, I tell you what, the Giants, you win the Friday game on the walk-off home run by a catcher who just, well, I don't think he'd ever had a walk-off ever, especially not a grand slam. Not a good hitter in Patrick Bailey, although he's been hitting the ball a lot better as of late. You win that game, and then you have your 2 dudes. You got Logan Webb and Robbie Ray going Saturday and Sunday, and then you give that up. You spit the bit with that, and it's not just that the Giants spit the bit, Coach. They played horrendous baseball. They couldn't make plays. They couldn't throw strikes. They couldn't put the ball in play when they needed to. Willie Adames is swinging straight up the ball, which we've said forever is a really bad thing. Rafael Devers is swinging at first pitches and hitting into double plays when they are putting the ball in play. It was a complete shit show for the Giants. I don't want to take any credit away from the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, I think, had a lot to do with that. But Saturday and Sunday, after they had it set up so well, was a complete shit show, to where Bob Brennan, who's like one of the nicest, most composed human beings on the earth, was about to kick somebody's ass in the dugout.
Yeah, listen, I thought I think the Dodgers took their will away. Logan Webb, I can't stand that guy.
Oh.
And the Dodgers took his will away. And then they put Ray out there, another guy. I can't. I have to put it almost on mute when he pitches because of the grunting.
That Jimmy Connors crap.
Yeah, but you're right. They didn't play good baseball, but I think the Dodgers took their will.
They did,
and I like that. And now saying that, I like what the Padres are going to have to go across the United States of America and play a Mets team that is crumbling right now. But you know what? I think this is a type of series where the Mets could gain something here, and I would love to see the Mets take it to the Padres. And the Giants play the D-bags. So, I mean, hey, this is interesting. The D-bags. Okay. This is an interesting stretch here. I mean, the Dodgers could. If Dodgers play well, we could gain. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to watch these games with the Padres in New York, Philly here in LA. I'm excited. It's going to be some good baseball.
So not only did we take, this is how awesome this, not the biggest chat. We don't have very many people in here right now. If you have a cell phone or social media, text us out. Tell them we're going to be on for a little bit longer here, and we're going to have a hell of a Sunday night talking Dodgers baseball. Let's get more people in here. Not the biggest, but the absolute most elite baseball chat out there. So not only did you take the Giants' will this weekend, you made them play just atrociously on Saturday and Sunday after they had everything so set up to win this series. In the 4-game series coming up against San Francisco after the Phillies, you have Yamamoto, Kershaw, Glasnow, and Ohtani. Get you some of that, San Fran.
I mean, I just want to bury these teams. Is that so wrong? Is that bad to say?
No,
I want to bury
no.
them.
No.
I want to bury them. I kind of want the Dodgers. I just want them to bury them and say, listen, we have not played good, but now we're starting to really play good. And Casey, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to knock on wood. I hope this Dodger team can continue. I've seen too many times, as you have, and our Dodger Daily fans, Dodgers look good for 2 games, and then they go on this weird stretch of like, I'm at the bat and I'm hitting, and Dave is calling on me for a big hit. I really just want the Dodgers just to keep this momentum going. Like, can the Dodgers just keep this momentum going, please? That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's have some hard conversations. I lost my mind. I think rightfully so. I will defend everything I said on yesterday morning's show. I will defend the tone that I said it in. I will not apologize for anything that I said or in the manner of which I said it on yesterday's show. I think it was fair. I think it was backed up by evidence. And therefore, it is what it is, okay? So I say that to say, let's have the tough conversation. What do we do with Tanner Scott? I totally understand Dave's point that we've got to figure out a way to make this guy a factor, but I also understand my point that, not in the freaking 9th inning, 10th inning, right? So where are we at with this guy?
I'm going to listen to Oral Hershiser because I think he's one of the greatest Dodgers ever. And I think when he said, they talked about, and please, when you hear me say this, I'm just listening to the broadcast. Maybe he's been tipping some pitches. Oral did not. If you really paid attention, Oral did not want to discuss or comment on that. And 2, I thought his last outing, he looked pretty good. So, and when you hear Dodger people say he's close, they're either trying to make us fans feel better because they know what's being said out there, or maybe he's really close. Now, I don't want to use him in a 9th inning. I would love to use him as a 7th inning guy now. Let's see where he's at. And I'm still with this guy. I'm still with him and Yates. I still think they're good enough. But hear me out. I don't want to have him in the 9th inning until we know he's mentally ready for that, and he is right. I don't like when they say he's close and then you're throwing him out in a 9th inning. I don't want him to be close in a 9th inning. I want him to be right in a 9th inning. Is it fair to say I would like to see Robo more? Is that crazy?
Hell no, that's not crazy. That dude's competitive, man.
Vesia more? Why are we using Vesia more late, like in a Tanner Scott? I don't know. Those are just things that pop through my mind. Again, I'm not negative ever about Tanner Scott. He's frustrated me when he gave up that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. But I moved on from it. But Casey, I don't want to see him in the 9th inning. Is that fair for me to say is the most positive dude on the planet?
Yeah.
I don't.
So if he does the same thing like CNAF's saying here in the 6th inning after the starter comes out or whatever it may be, then the Dodgers have time to come back, right? It's not catastrophic because it's not a walk-off. So it's exactly like what they're doing with Edgardo Henriquez, who, other than one outing, has been just absolutely spectacular. And his outing yesterday Woo! He hit 102. He was throwing both a slider and a cutter.
Yeah.
He was throwing both a four-seam and a two-seam. He threw back-to-back-to-back sliders to get who was the first strikeout? I think it was Devers, the one who struck out on the cutter in, and then the last hitter that somebody help me in the chat. Whoever the last hitter was, he struck him out. It was Adames on the fastball up, I think.
Yeah.
He threw really pitches that other human beings can't throw. Edgardo Henriquez, that was stupid looking stuff that he threw up to home plate yesterday. So I say that to say that's kind of what Dave has done with him, is that he's slow played him. He's kind of ramped him up slowly. And so, yes, there's a difference in experience levels. I mean, obviously Tanner Scott has a lot more experience than Edgardo Henriquez, but you're kind of in the same boat in the sense that you're trying to kind of wean somebody back into becoming or getting them in to becoming the player that they're capable of. So maybe if you just kind of wean Tanner Scott back into some lower leverage moments, get him 4 or 5 outings out there under his belt that are okay, then kind of ramp him up slowly into, if needed, because then Justin Robleski, Jack Dreyer, Alex Vesia, Edgardo Henriquez might have already established all those roles, or Blake Trinan, whoever it may be. But I just think backing up and winning him back into those roles is the way to go with him.
Completely agree. Now, I felt for him the other night, the drop third strike. I don't know if that would have changed anything, but that was a little bit of an emotional thing. And then I thought, I mean, what are you supposed to do with the bases loaded? I mean, he had to throw a strike. I mean, he had to. So it was almost like they threw him out there as a sacrificial lamb and like, he could take it. It was bothersome to me in a little bit. But I don't want to see him in these high leverage. You're right. Let's wean him in. Let's get him right. I don't like that. I listen very closely to what Oral Hershiser says. I think Oral Hershiser gives a lot of good, deep, inside information if you really listen to him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want to touch on the pitch tipping. And he says what they're saying is that he's getting close. So if he's getting close, let's get him close and right in the 6th and the 7th inning. I'm just going to end it on that. So
yeah. So I have no problems with exactly that viewpoint on Tanner Scott. He's just way too talented, a left-hander that can throw the way he does.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think he probably has gotten unlucky because he's thrown some – I don't think the fastball 97 Friday was unlucky. I think that's just a guy ambushing a pitch because, like you said, he had to throw a strike. So he was sitting for that pitch, and he hit it. Give Bailey credit for that. But I think some of the sliders he's given up hits on this year, which has happened 3 or 4 times, have been unlucky in those scenarios.
Yeah.
I don't see anywhere where Kirby Yates has gotten unlucky, though. To me, this has just been Kirby Yates not being good really at all ever this year. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I can't jive into the Kirby Yates thing, man. Talk me out of that.
I want to talk you out of it, and I'm the guy to talk you out of it, and I can't right now. Every time he comes in, I think positive thoughts and like, man, if this is the outing where he gets right, we're going to be so tough. I can't talk you out of it because I'm feeling the same way. I don't quite understand it, and I think – that's why it's tough to go after relievers because it's such a year-to-year deal. Like, unless you've got a Mariano Rivera and all this stuff, I find it funny. I'm going to kind of jump off of the topic here, but I find it funny all these people are clamoring for Kenley Jansen. Like, I love the dude, but like, let's not remember he gave up some monumental collapses for us. But I find it hilarious that people, I wish we had Kenley Jansen. No, you don't. Like, come on, guys, be realistic. But back to the Kirby Yates, I don't know what to even say. I thought I try to give this guy good vibes when he comes in. I think, man, if this guy is this is the outing he's going to get right. And it just hasn't happened. And it might not happen this year. It might not. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I just don't like the idea of relying on in big leverage moments, pitchers that have to rely on such a feel-heavy, touch-heavy pitch like a splitter. Like the Tommy Kahnle deal, it wasn't necessarily a splitter a couple of years ago, but it was the changeup. It was literally the only pitch he threw. It just feels like to me in big moments when your body tenses up, you're human. I know you're a professional, but you're still human. Whether it be tense up or you get too excited, either way, your body doesn't function like it would on June 29th, right? And so guys who have to rely on feel-heavy pitches, I just sweat profusely in big moments for those guys because it's so hard to have a feel heavy type thing. It's like shooting threes. It's easier to shoot layups and dunk and get rebounds and get putbacks and go to the free throw line than it is to shoot threes in a Final Four, right?
Yeah. It's a great analogy. I mean, I don't know. I don't question Dave, and I just don't. But I question the Kirby Yates thing right now. I don't want him to be DF. Like people are going just DFA and get these guys out. Okay, whatever. I don't. I'm not that way. But like, there's got to be a time and place to use Kirby Yates, and I just don't see it right now in high leverage. I just don't see it right now for him, and I hope we do. I hope a light bulb switches, and we're in a game 2 of the World Series, and he comes in and mows 3 guys down, and he's like, oh, that's the guy we've waited for all year. I hope that's what happens, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it right now.
Okay, let me ask you an interesting question. You know, I love to throw these fastballs at you because you're so great at answering them.
All right.
Would you hey, Coach, you've won, 4 national titles, is that right?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I know you don't like to brag on yourself. I'll do it for you. So you've been in some huge moments, and typically speaking, you rely on the experienced guys, the guys who have been there before, because it's like you say, if you've done it before, it's a lot easier to do it again. I mean, it's just a lot easier to do something when you've done it before. It's literally that simple, okay? So I say that to say Kyle Hurd has 8.1 major league innings. None of that is his fault. It's because he's gotten hurt for Tommy John. It's because the Dodgers slow play their pitchers as far as getting them into the major leagues because they have so much depth. Guys like Dalton Rushing and River Ryan and those type of guys, get Michael Grove, Brian Pepio, those guys were first in line. So none of that is Kyle Hurd's fault, but it still is a fact that Kyle Hurd only has 8.1 innings under his belt. So is that a guy with that lack of experience, although his stuff is great, do you trust that guy to win your 5th national title?
Not at this moment.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I mean, and I'm as big as a fan as you are, but not at this moment. There's something different than I can only imagine at the level these guys are at in terms of Major League Baseball, standing on that rubber, looking at 65,000 fans looking at you. It's different than it's just a different feeling. No, I would not trust it. Now, would I trust Jack Dwyer, Robo, Vesia? I would trust those guys. I just don't think his time is right now. We talked about this maybe a couple of weeks ago. When is the right time to bring him up? I might think differently if he's been brought up a couple of weeks ago or last week and was able to be thrown into the fire. I just think something's different about being thrown into the fire when it's like you've never felt what that's like. That's just my thought. He's not Dwight Gooden, and Dwight Gooden might be the only guy back when he was a rookie that just took it by storm. Fernando took it by storm. I just don't see Hurt doing that. No, I don't trust him at this point.
Let me throw one more name at you then, because we're working on the Kirby Yates thing, right? Because I don't personally trust Kirby Yates, not because he hasn't been a great pitcher. I mentioned this in our text the other day, just because he hasn't been good this year, and then also the feel-heavy aspect of having to throw a splitter in a big moment. That worries me. So that takes you to the next guy, Roki Sasaki. This is a guy with 0 major league experience. He hasn't been overly impressive until his last outing. And then his last outing, he had a bad 5th inning, but 4 really good innings before that. Is this a guy that in any universe, Coach Barikoff feels okay with putting in over Kirby Yates to win his 5th national title?
It's a very interesting, tough question. Now, one thing that Roki has going for him, he has pitched in the Major League. He has pitched Major League Baseball before. He's been in some big moments early in the season. That almost feels like
you can make the argument that going back to Korea Japan is the biggest moment that he'll ever face. You could make that argument.
Yes, because there was more pressure on him from a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
These are almost no-win questions because I'm going to go and I'm going to get probably thrown over the coals on this one. I'm going with Kirby Yates. I'm going with Kirby Yates because he's been there. He's done that. He stood on the mound in front of millions of viewers and the pressure of having to throw. Now, I'm not saying that he's the right guy. I just don't trust Roki right now. I don't. And it's not that I trust Yates. The only thing I trust Yates is that he's been there and done that. And yes, you can give me his numbers and all of the problems he's had this year and all of the issues. But in a playoff series, I just don't know about Roki going up there. I just don't see it. Yeah. And I think there's a no-win question. I don't think there's a good answer for that question. I don't think so.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's go through this, Coach. Okay.
Okay.
Anthony Bonda, postseason roster-wise. Of course, you got to make the postseason first, but let's play this game. Anthony Bonda.
Yes.
Yes. Jack Dreyer.
Yes, I love him.
Jack Dreyer.
Yes, love him.
Tyler Glasnow.
Yep.
Edgardo Henriquez.
Yep.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yep.
Michael Kopech.
Woo-wee, that is one that I think for me, I'm going to say I'm 50-50 on him right now.
So let's leave him off. That's 4 right there. Tanner Scott.
Yes.
Emmett Sheehan.
Absolutely.
6, Blake Snell.
Yep.
7, Blake Trinan.
Yep.
Alex Vesia.
Have to. Yep.
There's 9. Robo.
Yep.
10, Yoshi's 11. And then Kirby Yates would be 12 without. So Michael Kopech would make the 13th. So with Michael Kopech and Kirby Yates, that's 13 right there. So to get to a Kyle Hurt or to a Roki Sasaki, you got to dump one of them, right? So it's either Kirby Yates, Michael Kopech, Kyle Hurt, or Roki Sasaki. So of those 4, 2 of those guys make the playoff roster. Which 2, if it starts tomorrow, do you put on the playoff roster?
I'm going with the vets, Tanner and Kirby.
That would be the safe play. I think that would definitely be the safe play, no doubt.
Now, while you were going through this, I was thinking in the back of my mind, wasn't it a couple of years ago Dave left off a pretty high leverage guy in the bullpen, and he didn't make the roster? Now,
yeah,
I know
but it was only for one series because it was the matchups and this and that, because you can change your rosters in between series. Yeah.
Like that. So maybe that could be something those 2 guys get left off, or a Kopech gets put on or left off with the matchup of who they're playing. I don't know.
Coach, I'm the residential dumbass. Let me throw another wrinkle into this. You have 5 guys competing for 2 spots. Ben Kasparius.
He looked good today, didn't he?
Yeah, did.
I like Ben. If he's right.
Craig Kimbrell was the guy that left off in 2022. It took him forever to do it. I think you're thinking of a different guy that actually was a guy that was going to be on the roster later. I don't think he was the only one, but yeah. So Ben Kasparius, you put Scott and Kopech over Kasparius? Not Scott, but Yates.
I could
This is exactly what the Dodgers front office is doing too. Like, oh, I know. It's like, let's get these guys as many opportunities as we can, so it makes it easier on us.
If Ben Kasparius is right, when Ben Kasparius is right, he looked good. Here's what I think happened with Ben, and all you baseball studs out there, tell me if I'm wrong. He came in as a reliever, then they built him up to be a starter, and then they had him back as a reliever, and then they pitched him a ton. They used him in some high leverage spots. It almost
then
like
none.
he wore
Then
down.
they pitched him none, so he got rusty. Yeah.
It mentally, physically got worn down. If Ben Kasparius he comes back like he was early in the season, I could see him making a playoff roster.
So I totally agree with CNAV here and Chuck Huddleston. This is, again, why Dodgers Dogs is the best chat, not the biggest, the best chat out here. I would trust Ben Kasparius over Kirby Yates because I don't that rookie versus or youth versus experience doesn't bother me for this statement that I'm going to make. Ben Kasparius doesn't even know what nervous means. Okay. I mean, Ben Kasparius, he is absolute. I mean, how many times have we seen him in a 3-2 count with the bases loaded and he throws a 3,200 spin slider? I mean, that takes brass balls, right? Ben Kasparius has brass balls. So I would trust him from a nerves perspective.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going back to. We talked about the experience point. Ben has a lot of experience from this season, and he was used in a lot of big moments early in the season. I would trust Ben over a Kirby Yates at this point.
Yeah,
and that's tough because I'm like Dave Roberts. I'm a veteran hugger with a lot of these guys in the playoff time. But in that situation right there, I would trust Ben over Kirby.
Ryan Yarbrough was the guy that left off. Ryan Yarbrough had been like one of their best pitchers. That was 2 years ago, and then they DFA'd him the middle of last year. Okay, here's the topic that nobody is talking about the ace in the hole that the Dodgers have with this bullpen. Okay, you want to guess where I'm going with the bullpen here, Coach?
Ohtani?
Nope.
I don't know. No,
Nope.
Where are you going?
You're only going to need how many starters for a 3-game series? 3. Yeah, we can do math. You're thinking, okay, this is a trick question. I don't want to look like a dumbass.
I thought it was a trick question.
Yeah, no.
What?
Okay. So in a 5-game series, you might only need 3, maybe 4, okay, with all the breaks. But in a 3-game series, you only need 3 starters. So those 3 starters are going to be who, right? And so whoever is not one of those 3 starters out of your 6, guess where they go, Coach? They go to the bullpen. So you know what the Dodgers need in the back half of their bullpen? They need a high-riding 4-seam that runs in on right-handers, creates a lot of soft contact, a lot of swing and miss, that can beat bats, not beat barrels, beat bats and get swing and miss. You know who that guy I think definitely could be down the stretch and in the playoffs? Emmett Sheehan. I think Emmett Sheehan in a lot of ways is a huge key for this Dodgers team because I think he's going to get bumped from the starting rotation because you have Snell, Kershaw, Glasnow, Ohtani, who've got all these guys to choose from. So he's going to get bumped, and now that gives you that power arm on the back end of the bullpen or wherever you want to put them that nobody's putting into this equation.
Okay, let me throw one at you. Let me give you a wrench. Do you put Ohtani in that top 3? If the Dodgers have to play New York Mets in a 3-game series, does Ohtani get one of the 3 starts? And if he does Sheehan come in on the backside of that?
Absolutely. And I'll say this, it's going to depend on, I guess if it's the 3rd game, each team has won the first 2. So you go with the best arm that you have available, which would be Ohtani. I would try to go Ohtani 5 and Sheehan 4 and say to hell with it. That's exactly what I would do, which is why the Dodgers use that piggyback system. You look at the tulsadrillers yesterday who won a huge game, or Friday. They had Wyatt Crowell go 5 innings and Chris Campos go 4. That is absolutely – because in a big scenario, I know the bullpen game won last year, and we remember it against the Padres. It was great. But what we don't remember is when the bullpen games haven't worked. So every time you bring in a new guy – what you're basically doing is you're pointing a loaded gun at a guy coming in saying, hey, you better have it today because every guy you bring in brings you another opportunity of that guy being nervous or not having it that day and really just kind of blowing the game right there. So the fewer amount of pitchers you can get away with in a big setting, the better. So I could easily see that piggyback system being a big deal with Emmett Sheehan being the back end of that piggyback.
Yeah. Yeah, myself also. I don't know if Ohtani would get that 3rd start, but I think Sheehan would be the guy. I think Sheehan would be a great guy coming out of the pen. Yeah, I've been so happy with him, so pumped for him. Yeah, and he looks like he's just fitting in now, like he belongs, and he knows he knows what he is, and it's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, so I agree with CNAB here that Sheehan I think matches up the best with Clayton Kershaw in terms of, let's say Kershaw goes 5 innings and Sheehan goes 4 because they're opposites. But here's my question, okay? And again, lightning's going to strike me down, okay? Is Clayton Kershaw one of your best 3 pitchers? Does he get the ball in a 3-game series?
Not at the moment, and not for me. Not at the moment. He hasn't looked good the last couple outings.
Yeah.
No, in his first inning troubles, I don't want to have that first inning issues that he's had.
Oh.
Not in a playoff series. Nope.
We've seen that in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. No. There's no way Kershaw gets the ball. Now, I know there's going to probably be some backroom talk going on with that. Are we going to give Kershaw the ball in game 2 and, put him in between? But I don't see him getting the ball in a 3-game series. Maybe in a 7-game. I could maybe in a 7-game, game 2 at Dodger Stadium or something like that, but not in a 3-game. I don't trust Kershaw. Not with his first inning.
Yeah. So who would your 3 starters be in a 3-game series against the Mets or the Giants?
In no particular order, I think you got to go Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, right? In whatever order they feel matches up the best.
No Ohtani?
Oh man, that's another tough question.
It's a good problem to have, right? It's like having 4 outfielders that can hit.
Chase, I think there's probably a lot of people that are going to be, I don't want to use the word clamoring for him, but saying, why don't we? He's the best player on the planet.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, I think you got to go Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto. I think that's what you got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I agree with Jay here. Let's get one thing straight. You cannot use Ohtani in anything other than a last pitcher of the game role. Because if you say bring him in the 6th inning to pitch, then he comes out, then you lose him. Either that or he has to go to a position. He has to go play a position. If he doesn't play a position, you lose your DH, which means you're having to play a straight 9, which means you lose Ohtani. So unless Ohtani is the last pitcher in, you're going to lose his bat after he comes out of the game. That's why he cannot be a reliever in the middle of a game. Okay. Now, as a starter, you can designate him as the starter and the DH. Therefore, after he leaves the game, then you still have your DH. But let's say Clayton Kershaw is pitching. Well, he's not going to be the DH, right? So you don't even have a DH spot in the game other than Ohtani. So Ohtani can't enter as the pitcher/DH at that point. So he has to come in as the last pitcher, which begs the question, will a doc, and Jay's saying here the doc hasn't closed the door. We've had all these last 3 out problems, this and that. Okay. We'll get into Brock Stewart here in a minute too. How about Shohei Ohtani being your closer?
I think that would be awesome, because I always go back to that game against Trout, and Ohtani looked electric on the mound to finish off that World Championship for the baseball stuff, or was the Baseball World Classic. Mm-hmm. I could see Ohtani being a closer, needing 3 outs up to in a Game 7. Ohtani on the mound. Oh man, that would be amazing. Goosebump type stuff.
So the Dodgers will have to have the lead, and it'll have to be a scenario to where if Ohtani gets 3 outs before giving up a run or the lead, then the game's over, right? Because if he comes out and the game's still going on, you either lose Ohtani or he goes out into the field and you lose whoever he's going into the field for at that point. So let me ask you this. Let's say it's a 1-run lead. Ohtani gives the 1-run lead up. You go to the 10th inning. You can't pitch Ohtani any further than that. Okay, do you take him out of the game, or do you put him in the left field where he hasn't played? I know he's awesome, but he hasn't played there all year. These are all the questions this is all the crap that front office people have to deal with right here.
I think you throw him in left field and say, just go be an athlete.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what you do.
I agree. I absolutely agree. It's like, hey guys, we have never run this defense before, but this is the only way we're going to stop. We're going to get our asses kicked anyways if we keep doing what we're doing, so we might as well throw a Hail Mary here. This is what we're going to try. You're an athlete enough to do it. Just go freaking do it like you're 5 years old, right? Like you're playing on a playground.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Coach. So overall thoughts on the offense, Will Smith, Max Muncy. What are your biggest concerns with this offense right now?
I mean, can they just stay healthy? I mean, you get Muncy back, he gets hit on the arm and then gets hit in the head. Will Smith, the swelling's not going down. I think that was just a way of saying, let's just keep hanging on to Will Smith and let him get some rest and be fresh. I think if you get Muncy, Will Smith back, I mean, what was the talk that the Dodgers were having today on the broadcast about if you put their top 9 guys out there, they've only had their 16-7 or whatever
23 times. 23 times all year they've had their top 9 position players. That's it.
So think they've won 80 games. So doggone, good job by Dave Roberts of mix and matching this thing up. But I think if you get the core lineup back together, I think that's got to be what it's got to be going into the playoffs, right? And that's what you're hoping for in that last series against Seattle. I don't know if you rest or not, but I would like to see this core lineup be together.
I almost tweeted or posted it out on X today. If you remember when Freddie went into second base and he throttled down, he didn't slide, right? And I'm like, God dang it, man. Hey, these are the little things we've been talking about since July 4th or the end of May, whatever it may be. Damn it, Freddie sliding. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Come on, dumbass. This is a total pro. He knows what he's doing, and his ankle's not right? And then, so I want to say that, first of all, are we worried about the ankle? But then also he gets 2 hits today, and they're both like just ringing. One of them's a double to right field. They're both hit very, very hard. So I want to say, A, are we worried about Freddie Freeman and his ankle? But B, I also want to say that his ankle obviously, it's not even in debate, is greatly affecting him. How awesome is Freddie Freeman to put up a close to, now it's not his normal 300 that he's done almost an entire career, but it's like 289, something like that. How awesome is he to be that good of a hitter being this affected still by his ankle all year long, Coach?
My buddy always says it on a text to me. He goes, Freddie Freeman can play in any era of baseball, in any era.
Great point.
And I don't think you could say that about a lot of guys if you really think about it. But Freddie Freeman can play in any era. He plays through injuries. He plays like a consummate pro. He hasn't changed. He doesn't change his batting ever. I don't know. The guy's a stud. And, am I worried? Yeah, because like we've had his ankle. We had the Muncie thing at first base a couple of years ago where his arm got hit. Yeah, I'm always worried about that stuff. It's like we're too close to the end of the season. Yeah, that stuff concerns me. But these guys are pros. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. They do.
They know what to. They're fine.
I was pissed at Freddie for the first time I think ever in my life. I mean, he's like my hero. He's like the guy that I would tell kids to model their game after. Both like from mechanics perspective, like, hey, this is how you swing the bat. You're down and back, you're flat in the middle, you're up in front. This is how we do things. We let the ball get deep, we see it, we stay tall, we stay through the ball. And if we happen to catch it out front, it's going to be a home run. If we catch it in back, it's going to be a hard ground ball. If we catch it in the middle, it's going to be a freaking line drive to one of the gaps. I mean, from a mechanical perspective, and then also from a consummate pro, as you said, he is the guy that I guide young kids to watch and to model themselves after. So I say that to say, I think that was the first time ever I had a thought like, damn it, Freddie, what are you doing, man? Oh, wait, shut up, dumbass. I'm not going there, right? I got over that real fast. So let me get into my next topic. And Sunday night's always full of just crazy topics because I got Coach Barikoff on the line, and I like to pelt his ass. Now that I don't have to see him in the Oklahoma City press box and he can't physically kick my ass, I can ask him however tough questions that I want to, right? Okay, so lineup-wise, outfield, we got 4 outfielders right now. We got Tommy Edman, Andy Pages, Teo Hernandez, Alex Call, Michael Conforto, and then Kike is a swing guy, both on infield outfield. Those are your 4 main outfielders. Who are your starting 3 outfielders at this moment, and where do they play?
I think it's Pages, Edman, and Teo, right? I think that's your 3.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice on where you want to put him. I think Edman's got to be your center fielder. I mean, Pages, again, I love Andy Pages, but he's got the most errors of all outfielders with 11. But then he'll make you feel like $1 million and throw out a guy on a 97-mile-per-hour strike from center.
Nice throw,
I think it's Edman. I think it's Edman, Pages, Teo are your 3 outfielders. And I think Conforto's used in some special situations. And I'll even say this. What if he doesn't make the playoff roster? It's very possible. Or Alex Call doesn't make it and Conforto makes it, correct? I mean, we could also go that route. But I think Edman, Pages, and Teo are your best 3 for playoff scenario baseball.
Okay, so let's go over the roster right now. Chucky Robinson, by the way, was on. Your 2 catchers. Let me kind of explain to you what this team has done this year. Hey, I've bitched more than anybody. I just went on for like 3 hours yesterday, and Austin was just taking punch after punch because I was a mad son of a bitch yesterday. If you don't believe me, just go back and watch the show. So trust me, I am the front of the line when I'm talking about bitching and moaning, okay? Of all the bitching and moaning that I've done all year long about this team's not consistent, this and that, all the warts and this and that, okay, you want to know who their 2 catchers were this weekend against the arch rival Giants, who maybe had been the best team in baseball for the last week or 2? You want to know who the 2 freaking catchers were this weekend for the Dodgers?
Yeah, Ben and Mickey, and Ben and Chucky.
Ben and Chucky. I mean, hell, that's a pizza parlor, isn't it?
Yes.
Ben Rortvedt and Chucky Robinson were your catchers. You got beat on Friday. You had Logan Webb and Robbie Ray to face on Saturday and Sunday, and you came back and won the series. If you don't think this Dodgers team gives a shit, or if you don't think this Dodgers team isn't talented enough, or if you don't think this Dodgers team doesn't have enough grit, let me say this again. Ben and Chucky were your 2 catchers this weekend in San Francisco, by the way. How about that? Try that one on for size.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why I'm like, guys, Dave Roberts has done a magical job, managing this team.
Yeah, and it's the weirdest thing because in a lot of ways this team has underachieved, but and then you think, well, actually, they probably have overachieved. So it's that weird dichotomy of both sides of that, isn't it?
Yeah, very strange because they've won a lot of games, but we all expected them to win 120 and go for the record. But, I mean, they just haven't. Again, we went back to the lineup. They haven't had a full lineup all year long.
Hey, Coach. Okay, in honor of Chucky Robinson and Ben Rortvedt, when they both get cut from the roster in the postseason with Dalton Rushing and Will Smith are your two catchers, you know what we need to do? We need to go to Chavez Ravine, and they need to start a pizza stand at Chavez Ravine called Ben and Chucky's. It would be the most popular concession stand in the whole place, would it not?
They would love them. Yeah. That's great.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go through this, Coach. Okay, so Shohei Ohtani on the playoff roster?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Ben and Chucky, the pizza parlor, are they on?
No.
No. Okay,
No.
so there's one. Mookie Betts?
Yep.
Tommy Edman?
Yep.
Freddie Freeman?
Yep.
Yeah. Kike?
Yep.
Okay. Hesong?
Yes.
Okay. Max?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Alex Call?
No.
No. Okay, that's 6. Michael Conforto?
Yes.
Okay. Teoscar Hernandez?
Yes.
Andy. All right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11. Okay. You still have to put Will Smith on that roster. That's 12. So who is your 13th roster?
Well, okay. So then if that's the case, I think Alex Call does make it, but I'm going to make a push. We start pushing for Ben.
Let's see. Let me count. This is going to be awkward.
Play the outfield.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Will Smith makes 12. That puts Alex Call as your 13th player. There you go. Yeah. So here's how I would do the outfield. Okay, and let's see if you agree with this. I would have Edman in center. I would have Pages in right because you want your biggest arm in right field because it's the furthest away from third base. Okay, and I would put Teo in left. And again, I think you're also making the statement of the merit system type thing. Hey, Teo, sorry, but Andy's a better right fielder than you are, so go to left field. We love you, brother, but you're going to be our left fielder from here on out. That kind of deal. Okay, and then I think also what I would do is I would use Michael Conforto as a matchup off the bench left-handed hitter. If he has a good matchup, you could use him as like they did today, right? And then I think Alex Call could be your late game defensive substitution for Teo Hernandez. I think that's how you use the lineup right there. And then I think it's a mixture between Miguel Rojas and Hyesun Kim at second base. And then what happens is whoever pinch hits, that having Kike allows you to pinch hit, whether it be for an outfielder or an infielder, because you don't have to worry about the position being played because Kike can play that position. So you keep Kike as the guy that comes in after you pinch hit, or you just pinch hit Kike all in all. But he's kind of your swing guy that way. That's how I would go. You got any problems with that?
None whatsoever. No, I don't have any problems with that. And I think maybe Rojas is pushing to be a starter for the rest of the year. So I don't have any problems.
Dalton Rushing, man. We got to put Rushing on that, Coach. So that's going to come down to Rushing or Call.
So I think that's why I left Call off because I was okay. I think that's what it was because I left Call off. So Rushing would be the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No room for Alex Call. You're exactly right. So it's either going to be Alex Call or Michael Conforto. Okay, man. What are we doing here?
I'm going with Conforto, but I would not be surprised if Dave Roberts leaves Conforto off. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I just wouldn't. I think I wouldn't be surprised. I have nothing to back this up as. I just wouldn't be surprised.
Like what?
Crazy?
What part of the human element of that is making you go that way? I know you're going with the human element aspect of this. You're reading a coach because this is what you've done for 30 years of your life, and you're trained to see these things of the human element of it. What is it that you're seeing here?
Because if you're not going to start Conforto, you're just going to use him in special situations. I think Alex Call might be. If we're going between the two, Alex Call would be a better defensive player than Michael Conforto, and I don't think Conforto is bad. I just would trust maybe Alex Call a little bit more. And I'm not talking anything other than defensive replacement.
So, okay, here's going to be, to me, a determining factor of that. If you want to get down to the nitty-gritty, Do you see Kike as a late game offensive replacement or a late game defensive replacement? If you're the front office, which way do you view him?
I would right now view him defensively.
Oh, really? Even though he's been so good in the playoffs in the past.
Yeah, but if you look at it, Kike's used a lot as a defensive replacement. If you look at the right, am I going crazy here?
No, no.
You're asking me a lot of hard questions that are confusing this old coach. I know Kike hits in the playoffs, but I also trust Kike defensively in a playoff situation.
Nice.
I just do, maybe more so than Call or Conforto or even a Kim. I mean, I trust Kike.
Yeah, I agree. So I think if you view Kike as a defensive replacement, I think that means Alex Call's off. I think if you view him as an offensive replacement, that leaves off Michael Conforto. I think you can avoid that entire scenario by making Kike your replacement at second base. And that just leaves off Ha-Seong Kim, who hasn't really gotten a whole lot of at-bats lately. I know he brings a lot of speed off the bench. That would be the ultimate Dodgers-type decision, leave the young guy off.
Yes, I would say if we're talking about a 3-game series, I mean, if we really wanted to sit here and dissect this thing, I could see Kim being left off for a 3-game series. Maybe not a 7-game. Maybe they move the roster around. But for 3 games, I don't see – maybe you're right. Maybe you don't see Kim making that roster because it's 3 games and it's – I don't know. Do you trust him? I don't know if I trust him.
Yeah. This has been a great conversation, Coach. It is Sunday night in the big town. We both have beautiful brides that we like looking at way more than we like looking at each other. And as much as we love the Dodgers dogs, we love our beautiful brides way more than them too, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
So give us your final thoughts about this great weekend with the Giants that started out like absolute hot garbage, but ended up simply fantastic. Your thoughts on the Drillers turning things around and making the playoffs. Oklahoma City having a very good year this year. Rancho making the playoffs. Great Lakes going down to the last 2 or 3 games to see if they could make the playoffs, beating the Giants and the Phils straight ahead. It's a great time to be a Dodger fan. Your final thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I mean, to see the minor league system be so successful, I mean, we're the number 1 system for a reason, and it's great to see that success. I'm partial to Oklahoma City and Tulsa because that's where I used to live close by. Seeing Tulsa make the playoffs is incredibly awesome to me. Oklahoma City has to deal with a lot of guys being moved up and down, so I'm pumped to see how they've ended. Took 2 out of 3 from the hated Giants. Big series coming up with Philly. I think, again, and hopefully in 7 days, if I can get back on a Sunday with you, we look at these 7 games and say, absolutely, that was the Dodgers putting a stamp on this season. So, no, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great 3-game series coming up here with Phillies, and I hope we all enjoy it. So go Dodgers.
You're a close friend with Alex Friedman. I know you guys text back and forth. You became very close when you worked in the press box with him at Oklahoma City. He had a big role in the rebranding of Oklahoma City to the Comets. I personally love it. I love the tie-in to Mickey Mantle. The uniforms are fantastic. Yeah. Hey, 10,000 people on both Friday, over 10,000 on both Friday and Saturday. They had the first 11,000 crowd since 2019 this year. Awesome. I have to say, the local branding of the Comets, the crowds were much better this year. It freaking worked, Coach. I think I love the name the Dodgers, but in Oklahoma, I think they wanted something different that was their own. So your thoughts on the rebranding to the Comets, your final thoughts on that? Yeah,
and you bring up Alex, my good buddy. I think I was the first one. I think he and I had lunch one day, and I said, I'm just not digging this new Oklahoma City Comet deal. And when I was able to work in the press box before I left for a new job, I started to really like it, the uniforms. And then I try to watch as many games as I can on TV through the MiLB package. It looks really good. I like your hat. I like the colors. It makes sense for it. It gives the Dodgers, not the Dodgers, but the Comets their own feel for the fans, because as much as we're all Dodger fans, that doesn't mean everybody in Oklahoma City is. I'm with you on this. I really started to like the Oklahoma City Comets, and I love your hat. Love your hat. I think it's awesome. And again, let me give my guy Alex one more pump here before we go. Best play-by-play guy in all of minor league baseball. Yes. And I think we're very lucky to have him. So again, guys, let's go. We got a big 7 games, and let's go Dodgers.
I'm pumped. It's a great day to be a Dodger. You Dodgers fans, you Dodgers dogs out there are the best. It's a great day to be a Dodger.
See you guys.